Hi again. Do you know the fourth law of Newton? You always heard only three laws, right? It says to do anything great, attention and process is all you need. it's uh, it's not really subjected to Newton, but that's the core of my analysis, or which industries these days using. Do you know why um, agents are flourishing and expanding and being used every day these days? Because humanity has been able to templatize most of the things we have been doing. Yay! It's a kind of a celebration moment for everything, right? That's how we are able to scale a lot of things, because we know how to how the things are going on, right? How how to describe things to the computer so that the computer can do the things for us. Hmm. It's like a it's like we have been some of us sorry, some of us have been looking for the best case scenario, and yeah, we are on our way. Hmm. Everything has a best case scenario, the worst case scenario, and the in between. Um, but your mileage may vary, right? I think I should take a moment. Oh, I just switched off my lights. Hmm. So, attention and process is all you need. Very important part. It's like a law of nature. Why I'm putting it like this? Because it's like a given thing. You and me or anyone. Right? For example, if I want to build my self, my physique better, I need to follow a process. If I want to compete in a world class competition, I need to follow a process, right? I need to have an attention span for the long enough that is required. For example, I want to be great at chess. I need to follow the rule number four. um, Attention and process is all we need. So, attention and is all you need, that came from the core of, I think, Transformers. I have not read the research paper. I started the second research paper which says process is all we need, which was hypothesized, I think, by ERP AI. I don't remember the team name. But point is, that's what we need. That's what we have to start with. So that's what I've been doing. That's what I have now started following, like the law of nature. To do anything great, attention and all we need. Attention and process is all we need, right? So today is the day 6. I challenged myself to do it live, to learn and build my agent live, which is, so let me try to follow this next few minutes like a FAQ. Who is this session for? This session is for people who are system integrators, or organizations, or actually I would say teams who are system integrators for the organizations who are using Salesforce, who need help to, you know, for various Salesforce integrations. And why is it for them? It is for them. I'm pushing, I'm publishing, I'm marketing my services. I am an agent force enthusiast. I started learning about January, and about 6 months I consciously followed a process. I consciously followed the trails given by Agent Force ecosystem. Oh my God, I love it! I love the ecosystem. I love the platform, the playgrounds. Hmm. What else? So there's a lot inside that, the ecosystem, right? I also participated in a virtual hackathon where I did not succeed in building even the dummy agent, which the moment I joined that hackathon was like I wanted to learn, and I had a lot of thoughts in my head about the problems to be solved, and that's what I'm working on this challenge. Why I'm That's what I'm kind of building in this live challenge. I'll talk about it in a minute. So coming back to the point, uh, I consciously followed content, trails, people, and focused myself onto a process. Now I'm So after this hackathon, I started actually building that hypothetical product I was building in my hackathon. Now, what do we do? This agent, I'll now jump to the point. I took up the 7 day challenge to learn live. This is my why I'm doing it this way. So FAQ. Um, I wanted to push myself. I wanted to showcase my methods of working. I wanted to push my limits. I wanted to expose myself. Like, yeah, I'm the right person. If you're looking for someone with great agency, I would say I think I have an agency. But of course, I need an opportunity to actually prove it. I have a lot of documents and stories to tell where I did that. So jumping. Today's the 6th day. So after 6 iterations, I'm now going to focus on the topic. The topic is how do I find the next best action. This is not the depth of what Salesforce offers. I'm just taking it as a cue to find my best action. Hmm. Okay, jumping to the Notion document. This is my very clear portfolio where I started building this agent in an iterated way. Iterated way, yes. I defined this as a research experiment with hypothesis, goals, assumptions, and a lot of things. Of course, this is not perfect. I am evolving this. This is the third sprint I'm running in this project. Let me just show it. Okay. Is it? I hope it. My network connection doesn't. Stop it. Sometimes what happens is that when I share screens, YouTube goes black. I wonder if it is this browser issue with the Microsoft Edge. Okay, my things are not loading in the screen. Oh yeah, now it is there. So where do we are? This sprint is running delayed. I am what do we call it? There's an overflow in each sprint we see as a software development lifecycle. Right? There's a So now this experiment, this research project has a hypothesis, and I'll state the hypothesis quickly and then jump to the items. Hypothesis one is that after publishing my content like this and talking about my processes, goals, projects, thinking the way I think, and exposing that everything, and actually building this agent, I should be able to find the great opportunity that matches with my frequency of working. Hmm. Second hypothesis I have behind this is that I'll also share it on screen. Is that I'll use that hypothesis. Yeah. So I'm saying, no, this is not the definition. Oh, this is not the research project. Sorry. So I'm just mixing in my own documents. I'm losing myself in my own documents. Um, so this funnel has a hypothesis. So I'm saying is that if I design and build this publicly, premium attention. If we replace traditional job listings with dynamic, agent led, voice first conversations, we can produce better hiring outcomes and transform how humans connect with work. So that's my core problem I'm trying to solve. I'm basically trying to replace job listing sites with this agent. And this is like a shoot for the stars, biggest project I'm trying to think of, to be able to showcase how I can think and build how I think, right? How I can dream of. So, so this project has three execution tracks. I'll now get into this. You see, I have carefully defined the variables which I am catering to here. So this project has got three tracks: build, sell, and pitch. Pitch is not what I'm focusing on right now. I'm focusing on building and, of course, selling because I'm doing it live. Building and selling has to go hand in hand, right? Not, no. So, anyway, uh, track three: build the agent. Yeah, of course, it has got iterations also. So I have this separate page for this. I have listed my playgrounds here, and this is a public document. Everyone has got access to it. It is also searchable on Google. I don't know if it is. It will be there in some way someday. So, the playground, and this is the template I built for working on my daily challenge template. I started with this session with a template, right? Humanity has humanity has learned to templatize the things we we need, right? So that is why we are able to, of course, scale up things, and that is why we are able to get into the depth of automating things we do we need. Sorry, my throat might be okay. So okay, so this challenge has got few days, and today is the day we are working on. I failed a few times in between, so I restructured few things around my project because of the constraints I had. So I did not actually describe the things here, but I this is the living document of my project. So today is the day we are working on. I did not get into the depth of analyzing previous session. I did some of it, but I'm now going to skip it. Actually, getting into the depth of it, not actually discussing it. I'm going to actually use it. Um, did not write the depth here. So actually, yes, I can say I am missing my own, skipping some of my own processes. Right. The title I decided here and the video. So now let's jump to the topic. How do we find the next best action for our agent? Let's jump to the agent. Where is our agent? Ta-da! Hello. Hi, agent. This agent has got, what do we say? God complex. I did this thing. I created this thing yesterday live. Imagine you're having a conversation with God. So this is kind of a claim. This is kind of a base I have set up for my agent. Very important part because it sets the direction. It gives me the direction to think. It gives everyone direction to think. Right. Assuming you are someone who's looking forward to looking for to find a job, right? Looking for an opportunity. So what I'm saying is that imagine you are now going to talk to God. Close your eyes, think about it. What is that you want the God to know about you, so that the God will find you the right opportunity, the perfect opportunity you need, and they need you right now. So that it's kind of a perfect match. Perfect match. What is a perfect match? So I have three questions to start with on this moment. I wrote down these questions on my LinkedIn profile. I'll just share my screen from here. One moment, please. This is the part I'm starting with. I think I have the luxury to start with the first principle, so I hope I'll be able to do the justice for the process. What are the first principles of a conversation? Define the term job description. As a candidate, do you really know what they want? Do they really know what do they want? And the first principles of the conversation, actually, I have had a very deep conversation with the ChatGPT, and I noted down the assumptions as well. The first principles of a conversation I was able to synthesize with the help of course, ChatGPT. I wanted to put this section into this. What do they call it? I don't know. I installed this today itself, um, but I was not able to drag and move these things to under this thing. So I'll this is a kind of the design, but I will skip it right now. What are the first principles of conversations, and why do we need to talk about this right now? Screen. When two people are having a conversation, what I believe is that it's a very scientific event. It's a very scientific event, and um, a lot happens behind the conversation. So it's uh, which impacts the conversation. That's what I'm trying to say, and which is like, so some of the things can be there which we are not able to often describe, imagine, or even guess. Conversation as a mirror, not a transaction. Most people treat conversations like transactions, which hinders the things to go in the right direction. This is my claim. This is my like the concept I'm starting with, right? So if someone having a conversation with an agent, it's going to be difficult if you're already uh, not being yourself. Intent comes first. Attention is the real agency. So currency says meaning emerges. It's not transmitted. Yeah. So this is kind of the another basic thing I want to start with, because um, as the third question of my category said, do we really know what we are looking for? So if the candidate is looking for something, and they're having a conversation with like I don't know, calling it God is going to be helpful, but if someone's talking to God and they are not being themselves, I hope that God will be able to help them think through and like really help them understand what are they really looking for, like pushing them with some what do they call it, thought provoking questions, like force them to think, right? Think about it. What are you really looking for? So repair is a superpower. It's a I may not be able to explain this. Let's see. Misunderstandings are bugs. They are part of the loop. The strength of a conversation is how gently it recovers. And of course, because today, let's assume you meet God today. Are you really going to believe him? You'll be questioning. You'll be like, are you God? Really? Prove it. Huh? So we don't really know what we want from the God today. Right? So again, jumping to the like, simplifying them now. Self dialogue never stops. There's always a voice in the head. It hurts. um, Trust is the platform. We need to trust. So this is the base I have started with. So let me try to screen grab this. Da-da-da. Oh, yes, I can do it like this. It's not complete. Okay. So why I'm doing it like this, right? So the question, next best action for our case. Why I'm doing this? I mean, of course, I can go ahead and start thinking of the items I need to build in within this agent. It's like some topics, some random topics I can think of. Some then, if you have seen previous video, yesterday's video, or you can maybe understand if you understand the agent force, is that um, the agent, right? Sorry, I missed. Wait a second. I need to step back. Right. So based on three core principle pillars of things. Topics. Oh, let me recall. And the system two needs to come into picture now. Topics, actions. Okay. But like technology is the last part we should care about. What we need to solve for, right? Which direction we need to go. Which thing we need to work on, right? That's the core part. That's the necessary part. So direction is more important than the speed. That's what I'm trying to be careful about. Okay. So I'm now going to pick up these things from my home, and I'm now going to put it into ChatGPT. Like, so ChatGPT knows what I'm doing, everything, every session, actually most of them, right? And are we live? What is it? Okay, yes. I'll take a moment, maybe not necessary. Anyway, so what I was saying is that the direction is more important, right? So I'm going to try to use the superpowers we have, I have. I'm going to submit these screenshots. So finally, and this is kind of the real process I'm publishing. Oh, I must share my screen. I need to share my screen from ChatGPT, and I need to verify if it is shared. Yes, I submitted this. So finally, I have prepared the home of my hypothetical agent I am. Just like a talking to it like a friend. So I just said, "How's that?" Hmm? It said, "Risky." I understand the risk. Maybe, maybe not. It says, "Bold." Let's test it with few quick provocations. Who is this actually for? Be honest. Are they already spiritually inclined, or are you saying God as a metaphor for to jolt open closed minds? Will this language welcome them or weird weird them out? What tension are you trying to resolve for the user here? Is it I feel lost in job market? I don't know how to present myself. I want someone to just get me without judgment. Copy meet the need. Hold on. Is God pulling focus or opening hearts? These are like kind of the good questions. I mean, not I've not thought about it much. How does this tie back to the action? What's one thing you want the user to feel? One thing to do after reading this, right? So, yeah, these are the important questions, and like without actually answering all of them one by one, I'm saying I customized my chat GPT to also not just feed my ego. This is like a, or this is kind of the core part of ChatGPT, right? I believe it has been designed to feed the ego of the protagonist, and it works like that. I understand in some ways, but I have specifically entered an instruction that don't answer my questions like give me the things on pattern, right? I have given an instruction to ask me questions and help me find the answers from within myself. Hmm? So that's where we are coming from. This is that is why this ChatGPT is asking me these questions, and these questions are kind of necessary at this stage also. Who is it for? I understand it is for someone who's looking for a job. Yes, it is a metaphor. It says so. This is it really necessary to understand, or maybe everyone will have it. I want someone to just get me without judgment. That's the thought I'm starting with. Is God pulling focus or opening hearts? Can it be both? I believe so. Okay. where we are. How does this tie back to the action? So why I'm this should connect to the action is that I want the candidate talking who's going to start this conversation from here is like open up very carefully from the here from here like because I want to work with the first principles. What next? What's one thing you want the user to feel? I want the user to feel very safe, very careful situation where the candidate is like not really being judged. I'm just saying that just tell me who you are and I will connect you to the matching opportunities for you very specifically. Okay. So, and why did I feed it to ChatGPT? Again, let's now ask the question. Which part of this intro would you yourself hesitate to show to a skeptical friend? No, I don't know. Now, let's take it as a base. I like your questions. Um, I will be take the questions later. What would be the next best action at this stage? Okay. So now what I'm actually getting into the building mode, figuring out the next best action. Well, you want to, talking about the next best action, right? The chat GPT said what we have is you've chosen a base, not a finale. Yes, that's how builders move. Thank you. Uh, Here's a real question: are we validating belief or behavior? Why does it matter? You got poetic framing and philosophical grounding, but will people engage? That's the question I don't want to answer right now. So here's a decision for pick one. No, already chose one. I said I want to find the next best action. It says pick one. Path one is behavior first. Test the real world. What happens when someone actually lands here? Set up basic prototype interaction, can be form, chatbot, speak your truth, text box. Goal. See what people say. If they say anything, how they feel. Observe drop offs, hesitations, confusions. You'll get signal, not theory. Okay, that's one path from here. So I think the sentient behind ChatGPT is right here, very right here, in suggesting this direction at least as the one, or maybe not. So let's get into the depth. The path B says believe first, test the narrative. Do people resonate with this metaphor, this tone? Share this homepage with your ideal user segment, not just friends. Test with 5-10 people who need what you are building. Ask, what's this asking for you? How does this make you feel? Would you keep going? Refine your copy based on emotional reactions. You'll get story alignment. Okay, I want to take this bet again. Like I want to keep it this way. Path C is also there. Design the full trust cycle. Want a third path? If I speak my truth here, what happens next? Sketch the 3 to 5 steps of interaction after the stage. Ask, does the God metaphor of sustain, evolve, collapse? What does the agent do? What's revealed? I think this is the direction I want to take. But next 3 to 5 actions are going to be like still dicey. I don't know the right direction to be chosen here. That is why I'm here. That is what I'm trying to do here. Okay. And where we are. So let's say let's just add more details to this step, right? So next best action, talking about Salesforce functionality where it suggests the next best action for the agents also, and that's the kind of the core of the things where we are. Path C. Let's choose path C. It's like the conversation which I'm trying to explore the possibilities from here, and I don't limit myself with the possibilities because why do why do we need to do that? Hmm? It says, of course, you can say you're building rituals, not just product. Here's how we step into cycled UX friendly fire. It is a real poet I was looking for, maybe. Uh, let's imagine your user arrived, read the speak, your golden speaking, feel curious, maybe even brave. This whispers into the void. I'm ready, here we go. What do they actually input? What does God do with that input? Keep the trust loop going. Does that seem like the direction, the like meaningful direction to look into? Um, and does that help? So I will try to like question each of these steps I come across to figure out to like base question: is it the right direction to move in? Right. Direction is more important than the speed. I will always take that as a base, unless we are in the middle of a war, maybe. Right. So, like the chat GPT says, there are possibilities. What do they actually input? Right. So, I'm assuming, of course, it's put out its assumption very carefully. Assuming someone has arrived on the page where I'm saying, imagine you're talking to the God. So, what are the possibilities that the human can input? I think I need to think of the possibilities the conversation can go, and then think of the ways in which I want to take it, right? I again, it's not about me, right? I don't, it's not like where I want to take it. I'm thinking of the best case scenario for the best case scenario for the best case scenario for the best case scenario. It's like that. Inception, loop within a loop within a loop, a dream within a dream within a dream, right? So what do they do? What is that? What are the possibilities? So let's maybe pressure test this first question also. Give me more. Okay, no, not this. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Yes, I'll choose this. I'll ask more options. Like, let's see what all the user people can do when they are hitting a screen where it says, "Imagine you're talking to God." Let's stretch the aperture. You're invoking God as a listener, so the prompt must invite depth without overwhelming. Here are 15 categories, ranging from poetic to practical. Personal inner world. Some people might talk in a way that they actually want to expose themselves. What's something you are never said out loud about your work life? So these are the questions. So why are these questions? Why are these questions? Why are you talking about questions now? I'm not asking questions. So we did not choose the questions. I don't actually want to choose the question or define the question. The direction should go. Or I like the questions also. Maybe it pushes the candidate, the person, the protagonist, to think of the ways in which they can describe themselves, right? So it's like, um, if someone is prepared for interview and they have crammed some formulas and questions. Now we are pushing them their aperture to think of the ways they are not thought of themselves. Right. So these are the good questions I think to start with. Uh, Tension and longing. What are you tired of pretending? So if I had to answer these questions, this is it's like it's going to be an interview for myself. So if I'm looking for an opportunity, and if somebody is asking me, what's one thing you wish people saw in you? Okay, uh, I have the answer. What opportunity would you feel like a miracle right now, even if it scares you? What are you afraid of to want but want anyway? These are also the scaring questions because I don't know. Someone who's offering me some opportunities or helping me find some opportunities, they have I have not been asked, never been asked these questions. So let's say these questions are good questions. Let's just take as a base, but not like a law of nature. I will keep questioning my questions and moving forward in a loop based feedback loop, right? So this is kind of the feedback loop I'm pushing into. I work in a way where it's almost like a Socratic questioning, question the question. How do you want to be remembered, not on LinkedIn, but by your younger self? Who are you becoming? So okay, let's look at the end of it. Speak freely. I'm listening. Open text box. Zero prompt. Mhm. I like these questions. Might not have been ever able to describe these or actually draft these questions by myself. So now a few provocations. Which of these would you answer most honestly? Which one nudges identity rather than extract data? Which one builds trust fast? I don't want to focus on one question. No, I don't want to choose at this moment. Want to group a few of these as paths like speak your frustration, share a secret, name a dream. Always be a single entry point. Why do we need to choose? Do we need to choose the direction? So now, like the base question is the title of this session is, which kind of necessary to be reiterated at this stage, is that how do we find the next best action at any given moment in our life? Right? We need to like ground ourselves in the reality at the moment. Like, what do we have? Where do you want to go? Where and there are a lot of related things around that, right? So I'll still take it slow. I want to think out loud, like the direction I want to move into. Because building the agent is not the big deal, right? Building the like putting together the technology is not the big deal. It's necessary to know what is that we want out of the technology, right? The direction, the process, and doing great things again, as I started this session with, requires attention and you know process. So let's think out loud. Let us think. Let us think. So we have these three questions here. We have a lot of questions here, and this is the step one. So when we build agents, right, as the agent force depends on three core principles, right? Topics, actions, and instructions. Yeah, I just recall that right now. I was trying to recall a few minutes ago, which I forgot. Now, topics, instructions, and actions. Topic needs to be very carefully chosen at a step and at any given step, right? And like, how are we starting the conversation? So, if we look at our current agent, let me share the screen from here. My agent says, "What is the name? Career guide." I don't. So it doesn't gel with the. Imagine you're talking to God. Now it says, so this is the step one in the agent, right? It says, I'm an assistant, then how can I help you? Is not the right. So is it going to be one question? Because I have 20 questions from this sentient chatty, and I need to choose the direction now, or I need to brainstorm more. As a innovator, as a founder, as a agent blazer into this industry, I strongly believe in getting into the core of things, asking the right questions, like iterating in depth, so that we have more quality. Quality needs more clarity. Clarity needs questions. Question needs what? Oh, now there's one quick thing in this screen is that whenever my agent is shared on the screen, my camera overlaps the part where in the corner there's an agent. So how do I break it down? How do I move it? I cannot move my agent, move my camera. That's the limitation I have. So what I can probably do is I can share the whole screen, then come back to it. Right? Let me share my whole screen. I have only one window. I'll share it like ta-da. I think it still share overlaps. Yes. Okay. So it is about 45 minutes into the session. And I think I had decided to want to keep it short. I want to keep it on focus. I want to. It should be more meaningful, right? So let's just break it down. Move the agent to the side. Let's see. I cannot do it like this. I cannot look at my screen to see is it rendering well. So I think I will have to check it out in my phone to see if it works as expected. No, it still showcases my camera on the top of my agent. I think I will have to use a next another system to broadcast from the next time, so that I can showcase my chats on screen, as well as I have been thinking of putting this chat bot from the corner to the middle of the screen, on the whole screen, the full screen. So I will think about it. Next best action comes from what we have, like grounding ourselves into the present moment, right? The present moment, we have an agent that is now talking. In this session, what I did was I went into the depth of where we are, where we're coming from, next best action. So it's like I'm grounding myself with the first principle, the basics, with the theories I want to move the direction into. From next session onwards, actually tomorrow the seventh day of my 7 day challenge. Maybe I will restructure the sessions from here. I will maybe uh, learn for a day and then come back to do it on the next day. Let me think about it. Let's think of the next best action from here, and we'll come back. Thanks for watching. If you have been watching, have a good day. Good night. Action. Sorry, I'll just reiterate the fourth law of Newton I was talking about in the beginning of the session. That is, attention and process is all you need to do any great work. Focus on the attention and the process. Have a good day, friends.